He resembles Kevin Durant on wooden poles. Woj described him as the greatest draft prospect in NBA history, and LeBron James referred to him as an alien.
We're labeling like this unicorn thing. Everybody's been a unicorn over the last few years, but he's more like an alien.
Victor Wembanyama is a 7'3" French unicorn with a 99.999% chance of being selected first overall in the 2023 NBA Draft. Here are 10 interesting things about Victor Wembanyama you didn't know. Only 14 players in NBA history have stood 7'4" or taller, and only 9 of those, 14, have played more than 100 games. Victor Wembanyama stands 7'3" barefoot and at least 7'4" in shoes. That is assuming he has stopped growing. But of all the NBA legends, no one has ever dribbled and shot the ball as well as this 18-year-old Frenchman. Victor plays like a tall guard who was photoshopped. Only when you look at his highlights do you realize what all the fuss is about. Wembanyama lit up G League Ignite and the likely second pick in the upcoming draft, Scott Henderson, in his first 2 games on American soil. Victor averaged 36.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 4.5 blocks per game, but his agility and shot blocking aren't even his strongest suits. He can really shoot, and he can almost touch the rim without jumping because he's 7'4" and has a 9'7" standing reach. Nobody in the NBA will be able to block his long-range shot. Victor will be more than just the NBA's tallest player when he arrives. Wemby has enormous feet, which is great because he needs big feet to serve as stability anchors for his surreal length. According to his Instagram handle, do you know what they say about big-footed men? Wembanyama wears a size 20.5 shoe, or a size 55 in Europe, and finding shoes that fit him as a teenager was difficult. The only players in NBA history whose shoes would be too big for Victor are Shaquille O'Neal, Bob Lanier, and Taco Fall. But that's not even the most bizarre fact about Victor, because when he enters the NBA, he'll be the only player with an 8-foot wingspan. And there have only been 2 players in NBA history with longer arms than Wembanyama, and they were both 7 feet and 7 inches tall in shoes. But how did Wemby become so big? Well, it's not a miracle, it all boils down to genetics. Felix, his father, is a former track and field athlete who stands 6'6" tall. Victor's mother is a former basketball player and current youth basketball coach who stands 6'2". She was Victor's first coach, but basketball wasn't Victor's only sport. Vic grew up playing soccer as a goalkeeper and judo until his growth spurt occurred and basketball took over. That comes as no surprise given the Wembanyama family's strong basketball roots. Victor's older sister, in addition to his mother, is a hooper. She won gold with friends at the FIBA Under-16 European Championships in 2017. Oscar, his 15-year-old brother, is also a potential star and currently plays for the USL's Under-18 team. Despite the fact that half the world now recognizes the Wembanyama name, Victor was a normal kid until a few years ago. Apart from being abnormally tall, Wembanyama was discovered entirely by chance and coincidence. When Victor was only 10 years old, Michael Allard, the coach of Nanterre Basketball Club, noticed him on the bench during one of the youth games, but Allard mistook him for some extremely young-looking, clean-shaven assistant coach. Because of his height, Allard had no idea Victor was only 10 years old and competing against all the other kids. Then Victor put on his uniform and began playing. Allard's mouth dropped open, and he immediately recruited Victor to Nanterre's youth team. It didn't take long for Nanterre to realize Victor was the most talented prospect since LeBron James as he continued to grow and improve his game. Nanterre soon had 25 different people monitoring his physical and mental progress. They bought him a custom bed, hired a caterer, and even installed a fridge in his dorm room to ensure he ate 5 meals a day. However, given that he's still quite skinny, we suspect Victor used some of those meals to feed the neighborhood pigeons. Wemby weighs only 210 pounds despite his massive frame, and he needed to bulk up to be able to extend his physicality in the NBA. For example, his countryman Rudy Gobert, who stands 7'1" and has a wingspan of 7'7", was also very skinny when he was drafted. Despite being smaller than Victor, Gobert was 25 pounds heavier. implying that Vic will need to gain at least 50 pounds to reach his full potential. Victor values Gobert's contributions because Rudy was a key component in making Wembanyama go viral for the first time. When Victor was 16, he was filmed playing one-on-one with Gobert. But the crazy part was Wemby casually draining jump shots over his 7'1" countryman, who was the reigning Defensive Player of the Year at the time. While there are NBA players who can hit jump shots against Gobert, no one in the league can make jump shots over him, which is why Wemby is a lock to be selected first overall. Another French NBA player, Nicolas Batum, first saw Wemby when he was 14 years old, but he was already 6'11" tall. Despite the fact that young prospects rarely approach NBA stars, Batum was so taken with Wemby's ability and size that he came down to the floor and introduced himself to the 14-year-old. Because his good friend Tony Parker had recently purchased the French club ASCO, Batum immediately called Parker and told him that they needed to sign Wembanyama as soon as possible. Parker, on the other hand, is an excellent negotiator. He most likely could not have persuaded Eva Longoria to marry him otherwise. He was able to sign Wembanyama, who played for Asal for the 2021 season, averaging 9.4 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks in 18.5 minutes off the bench in 16 French League games, and 6.5 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 1.9 blocks in 13 EuroLeague games. But like Parker's marriage with Longoria, his relationship with Victor did not last, and Wemby decided to move on, signing teams for the Metropolitans '92. Even though he's only 18 years old, Wemby has already broken some records that will be extremely difficult to break. Victor led France to a silver medal in the 2021 Under-19 FIBA World Cup, averaging 14.7 points, 0.4 rebounds, and 5.7 blocks per game. Nobody has ever averaged as many blocks per game in a single FIBA basketball tournament in history. But Victor is much more than a fantastic basketball player. He adores Star Wars and is an avid reader, his favorite genre being fantasy novels. When Wemby realized he had the talent to be drafted into the NBA, he knew he needed to improve his English skills. He learned English by watching Instagram videos and American TV shows and is now completely fluent. So you know the NBA is in trouble when one of the 15 tallest people in NBA history loves basketball so much that not playing becomes a punishment. Wembanyama is as good as advertised, and if he can stay healthy, he has the potential to become one of the best players in the NBA very soon. If you enjoyed this video, dunk the subscribe button for more NBA content like this, and check out this video right here too.